I think it turned over.
Yep.
It turned over 2.4 yards. You got the draw, yes. Yes, score.
Oh, this is where I start drooling.
When you go to a party,
Yeah.
no one wants to talk about rockets, right?
Oh,
But if
no,
you say I'm
I
a golf club
concur.
engineer, you're like a rock star.
Yeah, we're here in Carlsbad at TaylorMade, talking about drivers. We are here at the Kingdom, their state-of-the-art testing facility in Carlsbad, California. You don't get to Stealth 2 without, going through the ranks of these amazing technologies that have graduated into every year's worth of product.
That sort of entrepreneurial attitude and the spirit of innovation, I think, is rampant throughout the building. I think you'll feel that as you're walking through and talking to people.
What would you say if I said building golf clubs wasn't rocket science?
That's what I thought when I took the job here. I thought I was going to be working on my golf game. We have our own driving range out there called the Kingdom.
Yeah.
When I got in here, I realized there's a lot more going on with golf than most people would think.
Today, I definitely want to walk through some of the greatest hits. I feel very, very lucky to be holding this one. So this is the original one, coined the Pittsburgh Persimmon, and this one is special. Why?
We've had some special people hit it. Tiger Woods has hit this club, and other notable players like that have hit this exact same club as well.
All right, well,
Don't break it.
I won't.
That's really good. Yeah, nice. I think the first thing that I pick up is just how it sounds, right?
Totally.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird
Why
sound.
is that?
Well, so those were obviously much thicker walls.
Yeah.
So they don't have the acoustics of modern metal woods. But also back then we didn't understand how to adjust acoustics.
The collision between the golf ball and the club face is as violent as it gets.
When you look at the elite golfers, right, they're going from 0 to, let's say, 190 miles an hour in a half of a millisecond.
Yeah.
It doesn't build speed over time, it's
Right.
instantly up to speed.
Right.
The ball is experiencing about 30,000 Gs of acceleration. So from an engineering standpoint, when I came from aerospace, we were designing missiles that were pulling like a 30 G maneuver,
Right.
not a
This is
30,000 G maneuver.
So you're
right?
saying the ant that I let kind of crawl over my ball instead of brushing him off, he's not surviving
Yeah,
30,000 Gs?
he's gone.
Looks like the next one that we'd be moving into is probably this tie bubble.
That would be the next kind of major breakthrough was obviously titanium and then going to bigger head size.
Is there anything that was just like, yes, we nailed it on this club?
The big breakthrough here was this was the early era of tie drivers getting bigger. We started to understand the physics really well in that club of hey, that bigger head is more forgiving, bigger sweet spot and all those things. And so I think the other big breakthrough was good players starting to use bigger heads, right? So the tour guys.
I think a lot of people sitting at home or watching what's on TV and thinking, oh, I need that.
Yep.
How much of that is informing the person at home to go bigger?
I think a lot of golfers say, I'm not really influenced by that, but when the best players are using it, it sends a signal.
Totally.
Should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, I feel like we're gonna go with the OG, which is the R7 Quad.
Yeah, maybe one of the most iconic drivers TaylorMade's ever come out with.
And this was one of the biggest stories in golf of having movable weight, being able to adjust your trajectory, not only heel toe, but also front back. So we had the 4 weights in there. I mean, it was a breakthrough at the time.
This is like almost a complete departure away from the pear-shaped head.
If you look back, and certainly with your background, you would have seen drivers over that era, the sort of mid-2000s, when every company had a different looking head. And now I think we've converged to the mean a little bit. If you look at modern drivers from 2023, they look much more similar.
I mean, there's
shape-wise.
a recipe for a good driver,
That's a
right?
recipe now. We have to make the club look good behind the ball,
Right.
And sometimes, we talk to our aerodynamicists, and the guy would be like, let's make the crown super high, and then let's make the back a certain shape, and you're like, well, no, that's not gonna look like a golf club,
Right,
And
yeah.
people are not gonna want that, right? So it's always this push and pull between aesthetics and performance, right? And
Yeah.
you want to extract the maximum performance out of the club, and honestly, leave as little on the table as possible in the name of making the club look or sound better.
Right.
Beauty, that was a good one.
How we do there?
268 total, 145 smash, so slower by today's standards.
Yeah.
Kind of what I would have expected from this era of clubs.
All right, R7 moving into R9, which is another just groundbreaking piece of technology. One of the technologies that is featured in almost every single club in today's modern market.
Yeah, so this obviously debuted the loft sleeve, right? So this one was super interesting technology. And one of the things that we wanted to do was actually basically give people left to right adjustability initially. That was the main goal of this. It was like, hey, we want you to be able to draw it or fade it and use not only weights to do that, but having also a different face angle and so forth.
Oh my God.
So it's, you know, it's getting gradually louder.
Yep.
You know, the acoustics there.
My goodness.
It's consistent.
There's no shot tracer on this video, right?
This one's the spinniest one of the last few we've hit, which
Yeah.
kind of makes sense. This is kind of a higher CG club.
Gotcha.
The R9, R9 Super Tri were pretty spinny clubs compared to some of the stuff that came before it
Yeah.
and what's come since then.
Okay, so the takeaway so far is that I need help really bad. All right, so we've reached the end of the TaylorMade lineage.
Yes.
We've arrived at Stealth 2.
What's interesting about this club is there's a ton of forgiveness built into this club. This is more forgiving than anything in this bag, and it's the ones that are played by Rory and Tommy Fleetwood and Colin Morikawa and all those guys. So definitely looking forward to see what you can do with this.
Are you sitting on like the best ideas in golf and you have to like, I mean, are the folks at home ready?
You don't know if you're sitting. We're not sitting there going, oh, we got this one. We're just going to hold on
Yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
just
No.
banking it for next year.
But
Yeah.
as you get further out, the funnel is bigger.
Sure.
You have more ideas. You don't necessarily know if they're going to pan out. In
Right.
the case of a carbon fiber face, you know, we went through ups and downs throughout that development before getting it to a place that could actually outperform a titanium face.
We had to develop a very special type of carbon that was thinner. Each ply that's laid up is thinner. It's like half the thickness of a normal one. So instead of 30 layers, this would normally be 30 layers, we were able to get 60, which gives you just better strength of that carbon.
We spent 20 years plus on this to get this to the point where it's durable, it's fast, it's doing all the things we want to do. We get the right spin and the launch using this urethane cover and everything else. But one of the biggest hurdles is going to be consumer acceptance, tour player acceptance of like, wait, my face has like this rubbery material on it and this carbon underneath. It's like, what's going on, right? So making sure that that club felt still like a Metalwood was important. Like if this all of a sudden sounded like, you know, had a completely different sound to it, if it was much more muted or much louder or something like that, it would throw people off. And they're, yeah, carbon's not for me. I'm good. I'm going to stick with my tie drivers.
Yeah.
That's a nice one.
Ooh, I got that Scotty Scheffler feet.
How did you feel hitting those?
It feels hot and soft at the same time, which is kind of like, you know, two contradictory feelings.
I think the biggest thing is because you have the urethane cover on the face, the ball does feel like it stays on there a little longer. And the reason we have it on there is to really manage your spin. If we didn't have that urethane, you would not be able to get launch conditions like you're seeing right now.
Gotcha.
You're trying to manage this highly complex product, and it's got to work for the average guy, but it's got to work for the best players in the world.
We're known for the speed and the launch conditions, but we're not yet known enough, in our opinion, of like how forgiving these drivers are.
Right.
Ultimately, you know, we want to have a situation where, you know, 20 years from now, you're going to be talking about this club. It was like, oh, I remember that Stealth 2. It was so cool. I was at TaylorMade. We were filming this thing. It was so cool, you know. And so that's our goal ultimately, is to create those iconic pieces.
Do you think we can get one 3 bills?
Yeah.
I would really like to do that, just for the camera. We'll go Rory mode on this. Go!
I mean, that was long.